Hey everybody, welcome to TPG'S world. It is the 19th of November 2017. Y'all, oh my gosh, Thanksgiving is like less than a week away, man. It's like knocking at our door. I mean, my gosh, it's here. And I only got to work Monday and Tuesday, and I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Woo! I'm so excited. I can't wait. The next 2 days are going to be awesome. But I know they're going to probably be the longest days of my life because I don't have to work. But I'm going to vlog about a few things. I didn't do a video yesterday. Sorry, guys. I didn't. It was a crazy day. I spent a lot of the day online trying to catch up on videos and things like that. And then my roommate said, hey, don't forget we have to go to that Thanksgiving party tonight. And I'm like, what Thanksgiving party? And he's like, you know, that one that we were invited to. And it was held at the place that the first Halloween party we went to, not the place where the house was all decorated up and everything, but the second place we went to, it was held there. And it was a buffet, and it was like $20, and they had ham and turkey, and I mean, it was amazing, 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 amazing. But this place is really neat. It's like a ranch, and they rescue animals. And they have like llamas and horses and things like that. But they had this really neat, it's a coy wolf. It's half coyote and half wolf. And it's raised like a dog. I mean, it plays the other dogs and stuff. It's not very human. It doesn't really, it still has its fear of humans. So it doesn't get really close to you, but it does play with the other dog stuff. But I'd never seen it. I kept hearing about this coy wolf, and we finally got to see it when I was leaving, and I was like, oh my God, there it is. There's the coy wolf. I was so like, oh my God, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So that was a lot of fun, but the bad part about it was we didn't get home till really, really, really late, because it's like an hour drive there. So we got home at like 12:30, I guess. So it was probably like 1. I guess we got about 12:30, and I probably got to bed about 2:30, 3 o'clock because I was online and talking to people and stuff like that, playing my game. So it was crazy, just crazy, but I was exhausted, so I slept late today. Then I went into town and ran some errands and just did a few things. Went out to eat at Fats Cafe, and Fats, I don't know if y'all ever heard of Fats. It was not as good as it usually is. I'm a little shocked, I'm a little disappointed in you, Fats. Thought you'd do better. But yeah, so that's what I did today. And I want to talk about something. I got an email. Somebody asked me why I don't ever really talk much about my theater career. Well, I mean, as you see, I have the posters behind me and stuff, and my name is really on those. You can see them. But I guess I will talk a little bit about it. I don't really talk much about it, but I'll tell you a little bit. I started doing theater when I was very young, around the age of 8. I wanted to be an actor ever since I could remember. My dad said I was very theatrical. Imagine that. But no, I started doing theater. By the time I was early teenager, I had done a lot of roles, and when we first moved here to the town I'm in now at the age of 17, my career took off as an actor with our local community theater. I was playing all types of roles. Some of the roles that I've played, I've done Paul in Barefoot in the Park. I've done a show called The Foreigner twice, once as a teenager, which I won Best Performance by a Juvenile Actor. And then I played the same show many years later. I played David, the preacher, Reverend David, and won Best Actor. I've won Best Actor several times for many different shows. I've won Best Director, Best Play, Best Musical. I've done a lot of that, but I'll talk about all that in a minute. But so I started acting. I loved acting. Acting was my passion. And then one day I was like, I want to start directing. So I started working with some of the other directors, their assistant. And by the time I was 19, I directed 2 children's shows that were held in our local gardens here. They were held in the gardens, and they were very successful, and they were fun. One was a one-act version of The Wizard of Oz, and the other was a one-act version of Cinderella. They were really, really fun. And then my career as a director, I directed Your Good Man Charlie Brown for the Dinner Theater. And I actually had to step in and play the role of Schroeder because my actors didn't show up one day that were supposed to be in the show, and so there was nobody to be in it. And I was like, oh gosh, there's nobody here. So that was kind of crazy. So I had to be in a show and direct a show at the same time, like, Mel Gibson or some damn body. So that was really difficult. Luckily, I had a great assistant director. By the time I was 21, I had directed big main shows like Driving Miss Daisy and a few others. And then finally, the theater asked me to take on a musical, which I did, and it's a very funny show called Nonsense. It's a musical about a bunch of nuns. It's not Sister Act. It's much more funnier than Sister Act. It's a hysterical show. And there's a whole trilogy, and I've actually directed I think I've done all of the shows in the series, at least most of them. And I did that, and then I got kind of known as the musical guy. And so I started directing. I've done Grease twice. I've done Wizard of Oz twice. I've done Hairspray, I've done Chicago, I've done Rent, I've done Little Shop of Horrors, Gosh, I've done 9 to 5. I've done Steel Magnolias so many times, like I think 4 or 5 times. I actually have done the show so many times since I was 19, since it was first written. I actually worked on the show as assistant director when the show first came to community theater before anyone ever knew it wasn't even a movie yet. So I've known the show for that long before it became a film. Matter of fact, I think on our closing weekend, a newspaper article came out that it was about to be made into a movie. So just so many shows. And if you look at my resume, I've been in probably over 100 shows, and I think I've directed almost probably over 100, if not 200 shows. I believe my resume says has over 200 shows that I've directed since I was 19 years old. So I'm very proud, and I've worked with many different theaters all throughout the area. And I just did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat last year in a town right near here. I do another town about an hour from here. I've directed Always Patsy Cline, Second Samuel, Bus Stop, a lot of shows. It's a very small theater. I got to do a 60s review. It's 4 girls singing 50s and 60s girl group songs called The Marvelous Wonderettes, which I actually saw off Broadway in New York and was so excited to direct that show. I've got to do Footloose. I've just had such great shows I've done. And as a director, I love directing theater. I love to be able to create shows. Some of the greatest things, like for instance in Wizard of Oz, I did it all in black and white, like in the movie. And when she opens the door, it turns to color and turns back to black and white at the end, just like the film. I kept it true to the film. The first time we did Wizard of Oz, we used a real dog in Kansas, and then we had a human play Toto in in Oz. And the guy was like 6'3", very tall. It was very funny, especially when she said, "Oh my gosh, Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore," when she sees him as this grown-up person. The second time we did Toto, I decided to work with our local dog pound here, and we got a dog from the dog pound, and he was trained to play Toto, and he went to all of our rehearsals, and he rehearsed with the cast, and we did a thing with the pound where people could donate food and blankets and things like that for the animals. And he was a wonderful dog. He had a mind of his own, however. He was very known to bark when he wasn't supposed to bark. He was very known to figure out, oh, if I bark, they'll take me off stage for a few minutes and I can go play. He decided we had to do a double show one day, and he decided during the middle of the show he was just going to lay down and go to sleep. And he started off smaller, but he kind of grew a little bit bigger, so he got too heavy for Dorothy to carry. So the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Lion spent a lot of time carrying Toto when he had to go places. But he was a sweet dog, and the kids loved him. We did a big benefit at Applebee's, and where you could meet the cast, and Toto was outside, and everybody got to meet Toto, and he was so loved, and the cast adored him. And he was actually adopted by my costumer and got his forever home. And his name is actually Toto now, and he's just doing wonderful. He's a funny dog, but he was a trip. He actually looked a lot like the dog in Annie as he got bigger. But we loved Toto. We did. Children and dogs, you never know what they're going to do on stage. You just never know. But that was a fun show to do. Rent was one of my dream shows. It was one of the most controversial shows that we did here. I loved Hairspray. I loved doing Hairspray so much. And as an actor, as I said earlier, I've played a ton of roles. I loved it. I got to play, one of my dream roles was Paul Bratter in Barefoot the Park, which I've played twice. Another role that I absolutely wanted to be since I was knee-high to a grasshopper was Oscar in The Odd Couple, and I got to play that a few years ago, and that was just a dream come true. I was so terrified when I went to audition because there was so much competition. I didn't think I stood a chance in hell with it, a chance in hell getting it, but I did, and I was very terrified. But luckily I had a great director and a great co-star, and I love doing that show. One of my biggest dream roles, and I'll probably never get to play it because I'm not a great singer or a great dancer. I could act the role, but I could never sing it or dance it, is Mama in Hairspray. I would love to play Mama in Hairspray, but I know there's a lot of guys that sing and dance far better than me, so I probably wouldn't even try out for the role, but I would love to play it sometime. I just think it would be so much fun to play that role. And when I did it, the guy that played Mama was just fabulous, and so it was so much fun to do. But that's a little bit about my theater career. I've loved it. I'm about to direct a show coming up called the Dixie Swim Club, which is about 5 women who meet since they were in their 20s, they were on a swim team together, and they meet every year at a small beach cabin in North Carolina from the ages of mid-20s until they're in their 70s. I call it Steel Magnolias at the Beach. It's it's kind of like that. So I'm very excited about the show. It hasn't been done in our theater yet, so it's going to be great. I've won a lot of awards. Little Shop, I won Best Musical for Little Shop. I won Best Musical for Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. I've won Best Actor. I've won a lot of awards in my career here in this town, and as well as many places. So I love what I do in the theater. I used to do so much theater. When my brother was sick, I did like 14 shows in a row, and I was just exhausted and my brain was fried, and I kind of had to step back and kind of get myself together and kind of put my thinking cap back on, literally, and just kind of figure out where I was going with things, because you get burned out when you do so much so quickly. And I was directing 9 to 5 the musical, and 8 hours before my first rehearsal my brother passed away, and so that was a really rough show for me to do and to get through emotionally, just because I was just I never had dealt with that. But yes, I love the theater. It is such a part of my life. If you ever want to ask me questions about it, feel free to ask me questions in the comments. A show I would love to do again is Little Shop of Horrors. I love that show. I love the music. I pray someday I get to do that show again. I hope to someday direct Mamma Mia. I would love to do Shrek the Musical. There's so many shows I would like to do myself. So you never know. But anyway, guys, that's a little bit about my theater career. I wanted to just touch base with you. I hope everybody's had a great weekend. I know I have. I spent a little while today filling out Christmas cards and all that. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. So I got so many to do. Just so many to do. But I'm going to get them done and get them in, because you got to get them in the mail soon. The holidays are right here. So, I'm going to be out this week. I'm going to be just crazy this weekend getting ready for the holiday, for Thanksgiving and all. And it's our first holiday without my mom, so I'm not sure how it's going to be. But anyway, guys, I love you. Thank you so much for watching my videos, for just everything you guys do. You guys are the bomb diggity. The bomb diggity. Please feel free anytime you want to. Email me. I'll be happy to write you back. If you want to ask me questions, whatever. Or feel free to drop by one of my live streams sometime. Anything like that. But anyway, guys, be good. Have a great week. I'm sure I will talk to you before Thanksgiving. But I love you guys. Remember, hating is a disease, and some folks need to get well soon. And y'all, look, I got some get well cards. I'll be putting them in the mail, because some people, they showing too much hate. But anyway, guys, I love you. Be good to yourself. Be true. Don't ever change nothing about yourself, no matter what, because you gotta love yourself, right? You gotta just deal with what life hands you, and just do it. So, guys, peace out.